Chris, thanks for taking the time to share your story.
Oh, I'm excited too.
So why are you excited to? Tell me, what was your experience?
Well, it was absolutely incredible. I got a postcard in the mail to go to a seminar. Mm-hmm. And one of my friends had been dinging on me about stem cell from Arizona. He's down there in the winter roping and stuff and had a bad knee and got injections and can ride again and everything. And so when I received the card, I thought it was from him, and so I better go to this seminar and see what they're talking about.
What was your problem that you felt like you needed help with?
Well, my story starts about 4 years ago. I had carpal tunnel surgery, and when I came home from that, I was sitting on my back porch enjoying the April 4th weather. Saw something out in the yard that I thought needed to be picked up. I walked out there and picked it up, and I couldn't get back up when I got down. And I kind of just fell over, and I didn't hurt myself or anything. But when I got up, I'm numb from here down, both arms, and drop foot in the right leg.
Wow.
And then I didn't know what was wrong. I thought for a minute maybe I had a stroke, Scared me to death. So I went to my regular doctor, and she said, well, you've inherited a bad back. I thought, well, that's okay. Dad had surgery in 1960. So I just waited, and she made an appointment with the neurosurgeon. I walked into the neurosurgeon on a Thursday and sat down, and he come in, and my MRI was up there, but he just looked at me and said, you're in critical condition. He said, I'd like to do you tomorrow.
Wow.
He said, C2 is being pinched off. That controls your diaphragm. He said, it quits, you quit. So Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, we went in for a 5-hour surgery, and he did 5 layers of my neck.
Wow. 6
months later, he went in and did 7 layers from my tailbone up.
Wow. These were what, spinal fusions, or?
I have rods and screws, and
wow.
I have pictures of them in my wallet so I can fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess you set off all the metal detectors when you go through the airport security.
I haven't been yet, so I don't know, but yeah.
So now you've had 2 surgeries, spinal surgeries, which are pretty intensive surgeries.
Oh.
What is your quality of life?
My quality of life sucks because I have no core. I have no core energy. You could come up and just poke me, and I could tip over backwards.
Wow.
I fell down a lot. This leg, of course, has atrophied, so that was an issue also.
So after the surgeries, did your symptoms change, or?
No. I mean, I still had the drop foot.
And what about the numbness in the hands?
This continues to get better every day, but I asked 2 doctors, and they said, oh, yeah, that'll take a while.
So you already had the surgery. Now, how long after these surgeries you're still experiencing symptoms? How long after that do you get this postcard in the mail, as you called it?
Well, we have to tell you about going in a year after surgery and having him tell me I have 2 loose screws in a failed fusion. So we went in and did it again.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was April of it'll be 2 years this year since that surgery. And my quality of life was pretty low. I mean, they just take the wind out of you, those back surgeries.
Yeah, I can imagine. So then you got a card for, saying that come to a seminar.
Yeah, so I thought it was from, this friend of ours, and so I just went. And when I went there, I knew I was supposed to be there. I'm quite religious, and that I felt like I was guided there. And everything they said made sense. And my husband and I got up and got a card and made an appointment. And everything else just fell into place as far as us coming up here and as far as us being able to afford it and have it done. It just fell into place.
So what did you have done exactly?
Well, when I came in, people here said I had quite a few things wrong with me. And rather than try to pinpoint one, they would just put it in my vein and let it go and do what it needed to do. And it was absolutely hilarious because the doctor who injected me started laughing. He said, your eyes are getting so blue. And they were blue until I come out here in the waiting room and stuff. And then they, went back to normal. But I took the injection, and that day, from that day forward, I did not have the debilitating pain that I had running down my right leg. I told the doctors, I said, it feels like you guys put a screw in my sciatic nerve. That's what it was like.
Before the cell therapy?
Yeah. And that's what we came to the cell therapy hoping to get rid of.
That was your main concern, was trying to get this debilitating pain handled going down your leg. And you felt some relief almost immediately?
Complete relief immediately,
Complete relief.
overnight,
Literally, so,
literally,
wow. And
literally.
so what were your expectations? What did you think might happen?
Well, I really didn't have any, so that I still don't. I still think they're in there just doing their thing to me.
The cells.
Yeah.
So did you notice any other things change besides the liquid?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay, so go ahead.
I went to the doctor after having the stem cell injection, regular checkup. She proceeded to take me off diabetic medication. I've not been on it since.
So back up for a second, because you and I didn't discuss this beforehand.
Right.
I said, I'm going to sit and get your experience, so
Yeah.
I'm having to slow down to make sure I'm catching all this.
Yeah.
So you came because you were having debilitating leg pain, but you also were diabetic.
Yeah.
How long were you diabetic?
Not very long. I'm going to say they diagnosed me maybe 5 years ago.
And so 5 years, and you're taking medication for 5 years? Mm-hmm. And did you have any thought in your mind about the diabetes when you were going for this therapy?
Not even thinking about it. But I was very well controlled, so I didn't think about it a lot. I mean, I took one pill of metformin a day, and that's a pretty low dose.
Right.
But I've been off them, and I've been back to the doctor 2 times, and I'm just holding steady. And
Wow. All right. So your
Looking
leg
good.
pain goes away. You're off your diabetic medication.
so then she wants me to go to the doctor because, even though I'm off the diabetic medication, I'm no longer a diabetic. She wants my eyesight checked. Well, I go to the eye doctor, and he kind of goes, wow. Because he looks at my eyes, and of course I have one eye that is damaged. I've torn the pupil in it. But he said he could show me 4 years ago I had a bleed in my left eye due to diabetes, and it's not there any longer. And I have improved eyesight. 65 years old, and the doctor says, you see better than you did, 4 years ago.
Wow.
So that was another wow.
So this is, it gives me chills a little bit to look at you as you're having this experience, because you're smiling.
I'm thrilled.
I mean, to go from this horrible quality of life, as you described it, multiple surgeries and surgeries to fix the surgeries.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine it's depressing. I mean,
I didn't want to live. I mean, that sounds so ugly, but
no, it doesn't. I mean,
you
it's
just get so
understandable.
tired, and you get so tired of being sick or having to take pills to put up with the pain. And I just was pretty well had it. I know the pain must have had a drawn effect on my face, because after the stem cell injection, several people made notice of my face and how much more relaxed I was.
This is one of the things that we really want to highlight with Pain Revealed, because we talked to a lot of practitioners, different types of doctors with different points of view about how to solve people's problems with chronic pain. But sometimes you got to look at it through the lens of the patient. And that's a big part of it, because some people might think, well, pain is just something that's an annoyance, and yes, we want to figure out how to manage it. But you're starting to speak to a deeper issue, saying, when you're in the kind of pain I was in, you don't really want to live anymore.
Right.
But it also changes your appearance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
because I'm not.
The nature of the pain is that you have a certain appearance, and so people perceive you a certain way because you're struggling so. Because I'm looking at you now, and I'm seeing happiness. I'm seeing you have a brightness about you.
Yeah.
But that wasn't.
Well,
the case
I want to
before.
play again.
You want to play again.
I didn't want to play for a while. I just wanted to drop out.
And so certainly you seemed like you had an ambition to want to get better, but at the same time, it's like this is not. There's no quality of life here.
Well, I couldn't find my core. I mean, I just
When you say core, what do you mean?
that very inner piece of your body, right about here.
Yeah, your spirit,
Yeah.
in essence.
And it was just, I had lost it. I didn't know I lost it. When they do surgery like that to you, they take your normal away from you, so you no longer, you're looking for normal. You don't even know what normal is anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel, since I took the stem cell injection, that gathered my core. I really felt that way, that it gathered my core up. And of course, I'm continuing. I go to physical therapy twice a month, doing exercises, building my core, doing everything I can to help this keep going. I couldn't lift my leg. I can lift my leg now. Some of the other things that helped, I had eczema on one of my legs. And that's,
That went away also?
yeah.
So eczema, eyesight,
Diabetes,
yeah,
and the pain.
The pain, which is what brought you in the first place.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a generalized impact.
And I just feel better.
Yeah. And for how others are experiencing you, what are they saying now that you've had this change?
Well, my girlfriend and I, we thought I was doing so good, we did a 101 trip from the tip of Oregon to San Luis Obispo.
Wow.
California coast, Oregon coast.
Wow.
We stayed in San Francisco 3 days. I mean, that's how it changed my life. I wouldn't even thought of going. And I mean, I went, and it was hard, but it was fun, and I went and did it.
As you said, you're playing again.
Yeah.
If you were to do a thought experiment and say, okay, what if that postcard never came? What if I didn't have this treatment? Now,
I
where do you
haven't
think
thought
you'd be?
about that, because that's a pretty sad thing.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel sad, because I think the pain was the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get your body out of pain, then you can go ahead and look at life. But when you're just every day in pain, it's miserable.
And do you think about other people maybe who are suffering maybe in a similar way that haven't found this path?
Yes. I think it is a path of the future.
Yeah.
I think it will take over our medical practice as we know it. Because why wouldn't you put something in your body that would heal your own body?
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
Wow. So, what do you think the future holds for you now? What do you think that you have ambitions that you wouldn't have had otherwise? And
I'm 65, and at 62, I thought I was done. I mean, I went into the Social Security office to draw Social Security. They said, well, you better put in for disability. And they never even batted an eye. I just got that, just poof, you know. So I was in a wheelchair. I had a halo on. It was not a good thing.
and here you are smiling.
At 65, when I celebrated my birthday, I said, I feel so much better at 65 than I did at 62. It's exciting that I can go and travel and live and be with my grandkids, run with my grandkids.
Now, and talk about travel. You had to travel a long way to get this treatment, right?
Yeah, just we live in Milton Freewater, which is about 12 miles south of Walla Walla, so it's about a 3 or 4 hour drive. I never thought about it if I didn't get that postcard. God sent me that postcard.
Good for you. So, Chris, one thing I want to understand, how much cell therapy did you get? Did you have to go through a series of treatments, or what did you do exactly?
No, when I came here, they just said that I had a lot of things wrong, and they didn't quite know where to inject it, so they just put it in my main vein. They said it'll go where it needs to go and do what it needs to do. And so I had one injection, and that was last April. It hasn't even been a year.
So it hasn't even been a year yet. We're like 10 months ago.
Yeah.
And in 10 months, you realized, and it was just one, and I'm not trying to sit here to sound like a commercial, but I'm really just trying to get the context right. You had one injection. It was systemic, just put into your vein through the body.
Two vials.
2 vials. And then 10 months later, this was it.
Here
huh?
we are.
Wow. Well, good for you.
I'm so excited. I'm excited to live.
So as far as the amount of pain you experience now, do you still have some pain?
I still have quite a bit of stiffness, and in the leg that has a drop foot, it wants to contract all the time. So I do muscle relaxers to keep it in control.
Yeah. But still more therapy for you to help, progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any summary thought? I'm seeing a very bright, smiling 65-year-old who's had a significant life change.
And I think that the stem cell injection was the life change. It changed my life.
Well, I certainly appreciate you sharing your story, and I wish you additional recovery and better health at 70.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and thanks for being here with us and sharing that.
You betcha. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you in line for a restroom?
I am. I'm headed that way now before I take my trip home.
How long of a drive you have?
It's about an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's
back
great.
to her house. That's one thing I forgot to mention.
What's that?
After all those back surgeries, my bladder, I had quite a bit of trouble with control of my bladder. And I think that's getting better.
Really?
And I attribute that to the stem cell too, yeah.
Were you on medication or anything for that?
They put me on Mirabetric for just a little while, but I'm off of it again, and I'm just going to see if it isn't better on its own. When I went to pick up the Mirabetric last time from the pharmacy, I have an annual deduction of like $300 and some odd dollars, or $410, I think. And I have to pay that before I can pick it up. That's a lot of money,
Oh, sure it is.
you know, for a pill.
So did you decide to try without it, or what?
I did.
Really?
I want to see, I'm willing to do this stuff, you know.
And are you seeing a difference yet?
Well, I haven't.
Had an accident.
Right. Yeah, and last time I was at your
I'm
house,
sorry, who's
how
this?
many accidents did I have?
A couple.
A couple, see.
And
So-
you haven't had one?
No.
And you haven't had the medication?
Right,
And you saved the money on the deductible?
so far. I'm
Wow.
sure they'll get me somehow.
I'm Patrick, who's this?
This is my sister, Becky Martin.
Becky,
Oh,
it's
nice
a
to meet you.
pleasure to meet you. You know, this is interesting. So how are you experiencing your sister differently? I mean, we're having this impromptu conversation all the way here. Go
I think
ahead.
the one thing I saw
Yeah.
was that she hit a wall after all the surgeries and so much pain.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was so discouraging to her that she couldn't see her way to healing. And once she had the stem cell, with the pain gone, her attitude changed, and the little dot on the horizon became a big door up there.
Wow.
And she's getting ready to walk through it now.
And we'll talk about her walking through something. Are you seeing difference in her ability to move and walk? Or
Oh, yeah. She was
what
on
was it
her-
like before?
She was on her way to a wheelchair real soon.
Yeah.
And she's up walking and walking with less support every day.
Yeah, I'd like to throw these away, but
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're moving in the right direction. And so what's it like for you to have your sister back?
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's younger than I am, so I didn't want her going to pot. She may have to help me out later.
Wow. So you drove here?
No, she actually drove.
You actually drove? You just,
I'm not the snow driver.
You're here for company?
I'm just here for company.
Wow, what a good sister. Wait.
Pretty close.
Thanks for sharing those stories.
You bet.
All right, thank you.
I've been amazed at her progress.
Well, I was heading to the restroom myself, but ladies first.